My name is Corey Anderson with Oklahoma State CVHS, and today we're going to demonstrate proper foal restraint. There's any number of reasons why someone would have to restrain a foal. Some foals will need to be given medications. Some foals will have to be, all foals will have to be examined after foaling, and sometimes blood draws may be necessary to be able to access the jugular vein. Is very important to have someone who's competent in how to restrain the foal properly. First and foremost, you want to set yourself up for success, and we have done that by having a foal that is very friendly, easy to handle, and already been handled quite frequently. And any amount of work that you can do with the foal before you have to actually handle the foal for something like giving medications is pretty important to make sure that the foal is familiar with you and you're familiar with the foal. First and foremost, you want to make sure that you're in a safe and conducive environment where there's a solid fence that, if necessary, that you can put the foal up against it to restrain. It's also very important to make sure that you're not separating the mare from the foal or the foal from the mare, so that neither one of them becomes excitable, making it more difficult to handle the foal. When approaching the foal, you want to make sure that you do so safely, that your feet are not in a position to get stepped on more than usual, I guess. You want to make sure that you're securing the head in whatever way you can do that without putting your head close to its, so that you can prevent being hit in the jaw or whatever else. You can also use the tail as a handle, grabbing at its base, being sure you're not being too aggressive and pulling the tail aggressively up towards the back. But you can use it as a handle to help you stay closer to the foal and to restrain it. Because these days most horse owners or veterinarians are female, it's important to understand how you can properly and safely handle a foal, even though you might not be large in stature. And in that situation, having a stout fence or something that you're going to be able to push the foal up against, like this, so that you can use your hips and your body weight to secure the foal and restrain it, is essential, as now the foal is not able to move as much. You have a sturdy backdrop, and then you can do whatever you need to do. So some of the common missteps in foal restraint is one, when people will try to restrain the head, oftentimes they'll try to either get an ear twitch, where they'll grab hold of the ear very aggressively, or try to bite the ear, which neither one of those is really a great habit to be in for you or the foal, because it will make them head shy, and in a lot of cases it just makes the situation more explosive. It's also important that if you get a foal that's fighting, that you be aware of how far you're willing or able to push the foal. So if it is necessary to incorporate some sedation to make the foal more easily handled, then don't be afraid to do that. It's also important that, as we talked about earlier, if you're going to use the tail and you're going to use that as a part of your restraint, to not be too aggressive in pulling it straight over the back. Okay, some of the most important things to take away from this tutorial is that to not be intimidated by restraining or handling your foal. And part of that comes through confidence of yourself handling the foal and conditioning of the foal. And because of that, it's important that you're actually handling the foal, that you are being around it, you're petting or holding the foal before it becomes an emergency situation where you're having to draw blood. That way you're familiar with the horse and the foal is familiar with you and is used to being handled. It's important to set yourself up for success in other ways by making sure that your surroundings are conducive to whatever you need to do for the foal, whether it's your medications being readily available, having a firm stall or something that you can push the foal against to set yourself up to adequately restrain the foal.